All right, I'm going to try and Plastidip my pads. I've actually I've done duct tape. I've done vinyl. And now for this season, I think I'm going to try Plastidip. And last year, towards the end of the season, I actually did blue and yellow on my blocker here. And you can see I didn't quite get it all off. And even on the sides especially, you can see the blue there. You can see where the yellow was. Now I could take it off easy enough with if I wanted to, but I knew I was going to do this. I can take it off easy enough with, no, not acetone. Here we go. Xylol, or Xylin. Zin. I think that's what people call it. Anyway, this will dissolve Plastidip like nobody's business. So, can use that later. The blue, or the silver blue, the black yellow. Maybe I should do the other way around. But, oh, and then there's a couple spots here. I think I'm gonna do that blue and that blue. But I'm not gonna try and do anything on the bottom or any Plastidip that might contact the ice because it will peel up, I think. But when I tested it on the blocker, it held up amazing. Lots of puck marks on it. It never lifted up or peeled up once. So here's something I'm gonna do first. See, some of the Gen Pro is starting to wear off on these Vaughn V5 pads. What I'm gonna do, and I did it here, I put some super glue on here. I'm gonna put a little bit more. Here I've already treated it, and it basically, the super glue soaks in to the Gen Pro and hardens it so it stops deteriorating and it keeps it from getting wet again. I'm gonna do the same thing here where any new spots have cropped up. Especially on my glove here, it is getting real bad. So this red's from the post. I'm gonna be using Gorilla Glue for the super glue to try and stiffen that up. Just put a little dabble do me. All right, so I'm gonna go and touch up any other areas, and then I'm gonna mask off some stuff and probably put on one either blue or yellow. So a little change of plans. I was gonna mask around each individual element and then spray and then mask the other and then spray, but actually what I'm thinking about doing is I thought about it, and this is taking forever. Well, not forever, but longer than I'd like. I'm just going to cover almost the entire face with duct tape, and then using a utility knife, razor blade, whatever, I'm going to cut around the elements I want and do it that way. And then I think that'll work a little more better. So, all right, so this worked out pretty well. Now you'll notice I have a lot of spaces here, and I'm okay with that because Plastidip will form a natural perfect cut line way better than I would be able to do by hand. All I'm trying to do is prevent excess Plastidip from getting into different stitches and areas where it's going to be really hard to get off later, and to overspray onto where it's going to be yellow. So this is going to be blue, and I'm going to do this part blue, and there's a part up here I'm going to do blue as well. All right, this is after one quick coat. I had a little bit of overspray right here, but I was able to rub it off. I don't know if you can see it's still there, just a little tiny bit, but it'll rub off as it dries. And you can see it starting to set up a little bit even right here. See if I can, where it's going to keep that texture, which is really good. I mean, it's basically going to look like the Gen Pro is colored this way. Now it's going to get into the fabric here, which might pose a problem later, but you know, if I ever want to go to a different color, but we'll see. Yeah, no real overspray anywhere else. So while that sets up, waiting for another coat, I'm going to work on this set, or this side, and kind of alternate back and forth. Alright, this is after 2 coats on this one, and I just wanted to show the texture that stays. And I think it's going to look real nice. Now the key, the way Plastidip works is it's a pain to pull off and to deal with if you just got a little bit. So like in these overspray areas here, I want to make sure I put a lot. Like I want to spray more, because then it'll just peel right up in little strings. And then here, this one's got this one going. This is just 1 coat, so you can actually see the puck marks still through it. So that's one way I know. Still got some ways to go. Actually, this one I saw some puck marks here too. So that one's got more to do yet. So I'm thinking 3 to 4 is probably about right, and it doesn't need to be, completely opaque, but just consistent is what I'm looking for. Thought I'd show what's going on here. So the duct tape job I have on the glove here is a little tricky, but so I have a lot there to kind of block overspray. About ready to throw a coat on there. Now it's going to get on some of these laces here, but that's just the way it's going to be. If I really needed to clean those out, I think I could do that with some of that Zin stuff, enough of it, but yeah. I think worst case scenario, I'll just color them black. And they'll just look like a lot of pucks hit it, which is kind of how they look right now. That started out white, but... Alright, broke for dinner there. Made some wonderful fajitas. Anyway, wanted to see if we could... we don't have quite as good light anymore. Maybe you can see that texture there. Just want to show off that pretty much still looks like Gen Pro and everything. It's a real good look. Now this is why, here's an example. It's important to get it from all angles. I never really did get it great from this angle. Maybe I'll do a touch up on it. But, I mean, in the end, you're not really going to notice it because it's going to be white, at least in mine. It's white underneath here. So it's not going to look like a bare line. It's just going to look like, oh, it's white. Oh, and now that's blue. No big deal. So now I'm going to start the yellow on these. Put another coat on the glove. Put another coat on the blocker here. I think I'm going to do this part separate. I think I'm going to do that yellow, and I might do this little inset thing blue too. Now here is 1 coat of yellow over black, and you can see it does not cover all that great, but we'll just do a couple more layers and it'll be fine. Like I said, I did it once before. Now what I did is I masked over just with masking tape, not with duct tape, because duct tape I'm pretty sure would pull up Plastidip, but masking tape I tested, it did not. So so that's what I covered that up with, and then I'll pull the whole thing off, and I should be good. Well, as you can probably tell, it's night. We had some storms come through, and it actually made drying of things take a little bit longer. Now on the yellow, because I was covering up black, I actually got a little greedy and impatient. I sprayed on too much at one time. And when you do that, it leaves these bubbles. Now I can fix that. Alright, so it's tough to do this on camera here. I took, and just with my finger, come on, focus right there. And I just rubbed it on. Oh, it's sticky now. And you see that cleared it up a little bit. Now it's shiny. It'll turn to a matte finish here a little bit, but here's another spot here we can try. And it just kind of whatever's it. And at least it'll smooth. It makes it a little better. It's not perfect, but so I'm pulling it up right now a little bit, and I wanted to show this. I'm pulling up some of my duct tape, and it's actually got both layers on it here. But what I wanted to show is, as it's pulling up, see, if you remember, I didn't cut the duct tape exactly to the edge of this right here, because what happens is a lot of times it'll pull up the extra with it, just the way Plastidip works, because this seam right here creates a natural break that it's going to follow. So you don't have to be exact, so long as there's some kind of natural break line that it can follow. Now here on this part, where I'm kind of making my own design out of some stitching, but there's no raised Gen Pro, I'm gonna have to cut some of that with a razor blade real carefully, and then some of this overspray area I'm just gonna have to rub away with some Zin and maybe a Q-tip or something. So here it is, finished product. We'll zoom in here a little bit, or we'll get closer. I know the lighting's dark in my garage, but I think it turned out pretty well. We got a couple areas I might still try and touch up a little bit. I have found I was able to rework some areas if it pulled off, like right here. It pulled off a little bit, and I was able to take a piece of scrap and use some of the Zin and kind of re-soften it, and then this blue stuff here, like, it'll just rub right off. See, there it goes. He's gone. So I'm liking it. So here we are in early October, and I've been playing pretty regularly. I'd say on average 3 times a week since I made the video in late July there. And there's my dog. And well, you can really see, I mean, I've taken some really hard shots off of the blocker here. I still, I never got around to cleaning this up here, but ain't nobody got time for everything. It's still not exactly perfect. Now there's a couple pieces, like this kind of came up just a little bit. Put a little Zin on there, it would tack right back down. But use some pretty hard shots scraping across here, and nothing. A little bit of wear there, I guess. But again, nothing crazy. Really been happy here. Yeah, a little bit of, sometimes it seems like it's more with the yellow than anything, but yeah, maybe I'll do a little touch up on that quick, but pretty good. Then the leg pads here. I have had, here where my I'm always getting up on this side, it's starting to wear a little bit. Not the end of the world. Yeah, you can see, I'll be honest, I never got, if you just take a Q-tip with a little bit of Zin on it, you went in there and you could clean all that stuff out. I'll be honest, I just haven't had time to go and mess with it. But that's what we got. Anyway, point being, the pucks are not taking this off. So yeah, still really happy. As far as my different ways to attempt to mod my pads for color, this has been my favorite. And been hearing a lot of things about pad wrap coming off, peeling off. Shoot, this is holding up pretty well, I think. And if it does start to peel off a little bit like that, it's like quite literally a 5-minute fix. Less than that, more like a 30-second. Alright, like the video, comment, whatever. I don't care. Don't. See ya.